It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3. We are talking relationships, and when it comes to dating someone from a different culture, it can be a bit challenging if you're inexperienced. Now, from clashing beliefs to different traditions, these little things can all accumulate and cause friction in, if the right precautions are not taken. And one of the strongest tools you need to date interculturally is a willingness to learn, as well as empathy to navigate through cultural differences. Now, in the run-up to Heritage Day, today we thought chatting about loving outside your culture, featuring we have psychologist Sadia Southgate, as well as someone who knows all too well about this topic, as well as we have actress and TV presenter Karishma Bazday joining us today. Now, if you have any thoughts or experiences that you'd love to share with us, please hop onto the WhatsApp line, drop us a voice note. That number is 063 408 8863.
Ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, this is going to be spicy, I know. So I'm just going to prefix this. Gail, if Gail phones in as anonymous and leaves a note, we're going to know your voice, buddy. We're going to know your voice.
You should be too busy with my daughter, right?
Oh, exactly, yeah. There's a fail-safe built in there, man. And congratulations. I mean, obviously, we've watched your journey into motherhood. The most wholesome, beautiful journey, and thank you so much for sharing so much of that. As a new parent, the second time over, it's been wonderful to see this beautiful journey. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You got good genes, girl. You got good genes. And now them genes a little bit mixed around
Exactly,
now, which
they
we
are.
love. You and Gail, obviously, you've painted this beautiful picture of what your union has been like, not without a few little blips and road bumps along the way. How challenging has it been? Are we reading too much into this multicultural, multidimensional relationship, or are you just two people?
We are just two people, and I think it really just comes down to that. We're two human beings who found each other, fell in love, saw a path together, and decided to walk that path, and I think the most important thing is that we were both very open-minded. And our families were very open-minded, which made a huge difference, especially if you're someone that's close, to your family.
Well, and it's almost like I've got the sense that these things really do matter to you. Tradition and your culture really do matter to you.
They do.
What questions did you ask yourself? Was there a point where you're like, this is going to be too much to even attempt?
I never felt that way. I think I was also very upfront with Gail. Like, we were both very upfront with each other in the beginning, and I think that is really key. Communication is key when it comes to these things. So there were certain things that I was willing to compromise on, and certain things that he was willing to compromise on, and certain things that we both were not willing to compromise on. And I think that was put on the table from the beginning.
Best you have that conversation.
And so going forward, there was no real issues around anything, because we both knew what we were getting into from the beginning.
Getting the psychologist nod there. Brilliant.
All my points.
Well, let's talk about it, Sadia. For those who are inexperienced, what are some of the key benefits for dating someone that's from a different culture than you?
Yeah, I think one of it is that you become a lot more culturally aware. So there's a deeper sense of like self-awareness as well, not just of yourself, but like from your partner or your spouse as well. But there's traditions, like, for example, you learn new music, which is like, yay, foods, you get to travel.
Whole new
Definitely
language.
the food,
A whole new language for me.
Yes, exactly. But you also get to travel a lot, and these new traditions that you are starting, which is phenomenal. I mean, to just be boxed into just me, man, and I, but actually have that opportunity to broaden your perspective is phenomenal. So, yeah.
Because let's be honest here, every generation is charged with taking their culture the next step. It's not about just being kind of connected to your past, but we have a responsibility to move forward. And I think we often forget that. I feel like I'm in a kind of culturally diverse relationship because I'm dating a Geordie girl from the north of England, and it's been the biggest culture shock. And I come from South Africa, so you must know. But there are these moments where it's like you just have to laugh at yourself because you are so different. Do you still have those moments? Are there still times where you have to be like, Gail,
Completely. Just the other day, I mean, Gail also had a very different upbringing. He grew up on a boat, sailing the world.
So basically, he's like no one else on the planet, pretty much.
Literally no one else. And his knowledge of pop culture is shocking. So, I mean, non-existent. Non-existent. So,
Wilson!
I mean, every so often I'm like, baby, really? Really? Like, how is this not? up over his head, like just, you know. But also some things he
sweet.
tells me about his, you know, experiences. I mean, traveling the world, you know, growing up like that as a young kid and having all of those cultural experiences has shaped him so much. And some of the stories, I'm like, wow, I can't even wrap my mind around them, you know.
Possibly it primed him for this relationship, gave
Exactly.
him that open mind. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, well, ladies, don't go anywhere. We still have so much to unpack with our topic. If you at home want to join in, perhaps you have a question or a comment or an experience that you'd love to share, our WhatsApp line is open. Our panel is not going anywhere. That number is 063 408 8863. And since we are embracing all things new, let's see what Raul's going to embrace.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for rejoining our conversation with our amazing panel this morning. We are discussing loving outside your culture in whatever form that takes. Earlier, we spoke about the beauty in difference, and now we're moving on to the more challenging aspects of intercultural romance. Because that's what it is. It's a romance at the heart. And we're joined once again by psychologist Sadia Southgate, as well as someone who knows all too well about the topic at hand, actress and TV presenter and influencer, Karishma Basde. And of course, we want you guys to have your say. Please, Gail, phone in this morning. Up onto our WhatsApp line. Drop us a voice note right now, 063 408 8863. This is a safe place.
This is a safe place.
It is a safe place.
But I also love hearing everyone's stories. Now, Karishma, take us back to when Gail proposed and you're now planning the wedding. How did you ensure you got to incorporate both of your traditions and, you know, be able to honor your union in a unique way that works for both of you?
Wow, so it was definitely an interesting time in our lives because we were dealing with two different families from two different cultures with two different languages on two different continents. So it was pretty intense. I think for my family, they were a little bit more used to and aware of like the Western culture that Gail came from, whereas Hindu traditions can be a little bit more complicated. So we spent a lot of time, you know, chatting to Gail's family about it and all the different things. And I'm so blessed. He's got an amazing family, and they were so open to everything, and they wanted to learn, and they wanted to know, and they wanted to participate in all the different, you know, rituals. So we did a lot of that, and then we spoke to them, and we asked Gail's parents specifically what was important, you know, to them for us to incorporate in kind of the Western part of it, because we had two different weddings.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you have to have the two? Sure.
We had to have the two. I mean, it was just really important to honor both families in that way. You know, it wasn't actually about us. It was just really honoring our families. Yeah.
I was going to say, because a wedding has got very little to do with you. Let's just be honest here, okay? It's the groom's kind of way in the back there. No, I think there is something beautiful about being offered a window into another culture in that way. I've found, though, with our beautiful audience, and we've got one of the most incredible audience kind of demographics, but we are quite polarized because we are quite religious.
Yeah.
And a number of religions represented here, and everyone very proudly doing that. That is definitely one external factor that will weigh in when entering into this kind of relationship. What are some of those other major stumbling blocks or the major challenges that you can face? Because it can be tough.
Definitely. I think one of it, or just even to name a few, is that you lose contact with friends. Family members may even disapprove, so you might even experience intimidation or hostility, negative comments specifically online as well as face-to-face as well. So clients, or let me rather
that
say,
thought,
yes, partners might even feel hurt or even just helpless because they don't really know what to do. What do you say in that sense? But you should use that as an opportunity to educate those around you, and it's important to have these conversations so that it does not have a negative implication on the relationship.
Yeah.
Well, I can just imagine you had such a strong reaction when Sadia mentioned social media and people's opinions, and they just love to share it.
Oh my goodness.
What's the worst thing? Can you even say the worst thing that's been said to you?
There's been so many things on social media, you know. It's been strange kind of dealing with that because our family and friends are so supportive, and you know, their opinions matter to us, but we're also very steadfast in who we are, Gail and I as people. So, you know, we stand strong in that. But social media, guys, I mean, people are like, oh, is that the best you could do? look at that, was no one else good enough for you, or you couldn't find anyone like
This
the
could
same
just be guys that are jealous, though, eh?
No,
Like,
but,
let's
no,
just
but
put
it is. It always is. And now with raising our daughter, people are very like, no, about a lot of things. And it's very hard to deal with that on a social platform. But honestly, their opinions are just like water off my back.
It's fluff.
It's just fluff,
yeah.
They don't know
Yeah.
the magic that, like, I really believe that we have magic together as a family. And it's our differences that have created that magic,
Oh, I
Should we
love
play a
that.
little roulette right now and go to social media?
See, look at that beautiful family photo on your screen right now. Well, let's take a look at what the comments are that you have shared on social media. So the first one is
All
from
right, this is coming through
Megan.
from Megan. My entire family has always been open-minded, and so is his family. I'm coloured with a Zulu partner. I like that. Well done, Megan. And Josephine Pickstone, our stalwart, weighing in. Good morning, family. I met my husband in the 90s. That's best era ever. He is British. We married for 25 years, got 2 kids together. My daughter is 21 years old, son is 18. At first, it was very difficult in that years. Obviously, it was apartheid, and we were everywhere we went, people were staring, very uncomfortable with my family. It's fine if no problem with his family. Was about shocked that he is dating a coloured girl. We were strong. Those difficult people didn't bother us. Life can be cruel to be kind, and that's life. I suppose you've got to develop a thick skin. How did you kind of broach that together as a couple? Is it something that you've had to kind of build, kind of circle the wagons, if you will?
Definitely. I mean, it's interesting. We still experience a lot of racism. It's usually in like the smaller places that we go to visit. It's still the strange looks and kind of the questioning. Whereas in Cape Town, I feel it's so different. People that really embrace it and they're like, oh, "It's so wonderful. Tell us how you met,"
Yes,
and
it's a
that
melting
kind
pot,
of that kind of thing. But I mean, I was performing at Kaka and Ka not too long ago when Gail and I first met, and it was hectic racism where people were youngsters were shouting. We were walking back from a performance and Gail was holding me and they were like, "Grab her, grab that slave," in Afrikaans, and we just saw my director running after people with a shoe, and we were like, what's going on? And it's funny because it just washes over Gail because Gail's not used to racism. But for me, obviously, it cut
Hits a
deep.
nerve,
So yeah.
And it will, and I think that's the nature of life. And I think as much as we try to hide from it, the world is polarized at the moment, which makes examples of love like this all the more important. The conversation will continue in just a moment. Gail, we're waiting, buddy. Need that voice note, Sana.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Back it is your feel-good breakfast show now with Heritage Day taking place next weekend. We thought we're going to start this week off with discussing the topic of loving outside of your culture. Now we're about to wrap up this discussion with psychologist Sadia Southgate, as well as TV personality and actress, presenter Karishma Bazday joining us today. If you have thoughts or experiences yourself that you'd love to share with us, please drop us a voice note on 063 408 8863.
And we do have some voice notes coming through. In fact, let's start with the voice note here and hear what you had to say.
Hi, Expresso. So we have been cross-culturally married for 32 years. We married in 1990, the year after the Immorality Act was scrapped. And we've had a wonderful 32 years together.
How incredible.
Andre and Debbie Blichnoot.
Hello. I mean, if you think it's real now,
Yeah.
late 80s, early 90s.
I know, right?
Wow. Slightly different conversation, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But incredible. Let's get one more in. That was amazing.
Expresso. I have dated and still am dating outside my culture. I am Zulu and my fiance is Irish. We have 3 beautiful children together and getting married very soon. I'm very happy with dating outside my culture.
Yeah,
Bye.
rock on.
Love that.
Hey, deal with that, world.
Yeah, exactly.
Deal with that. I love it. Sadia, I've got to put this to you because we are obviously, we're talking about some of the positives and the open-mindedness and the exploration of culture and all these wonderful things that can happen when you've got those support structures and open-minded people around you. What if that's not the case? What if the people that you rely on the most, your parents, your siblings, are dead against it. How do you navigate those waters?
I think like my answer to that will be probably easier because of my field of practice is that to often seek professional help because when there is someone outside of, you know, that circle or that bubble, they are able to help you professionally to navigate through that because a lot of the times we depend on our families and our friends to help us, but they are the people that are actually against us. So the important thing is also is that we don't want to get to that point of tolerating. We should be celebrating. So that's what's
So
important.
you've got to unlock it. That's what it feels like to me. It's like cracking a code. And it's there. It might be difficult, but if you work at it with a professional, you can do it.
I think the professional just brings that neutral territory.
Yes.
And it diffuses everything and lets you just kind of, you know, talk openly and freely and work through things.
Amazing. Now, I know you guys have this beautiful little girl.
Yes.
How are you, you know, raising her in a way where, you know, embraces everything, the adversities you've had to face, that Gail have had to face, and to make sure that she doesn't get affected or be able to handle anything that comes her way? Because we've
It probably is
established
going to happen,
kids can be
It's
cruel.
already happened. And she's 2. So, you know, it was kind of a real shock because Gal and I don't see things like, you know, like that anymore. I didn't really think that was a thing that was happening anymore, but it clearly is. But we want to teach her the value of uniqueness and how important that is, uniqueness and diversity, and how important that is, and that is everyone's special magic that they bring to the table, and that is something worth honoring, respecting, and celebrating. And I think that's a big thing that we try and incorporate in her life daily.
I think it's worth noting to everyone else there, and I'm talking about peripheral family members, once you have a child, nothing else matters.
No.
So you can have your opinion, you can do whatever you want, but my child is where my bubble begins and ends, and the rest of you can do whatever you want. So just bear that in mind, people.
She is a beautiful example of uniqueness coming together, diversity coming together, and forming this magical creature that now gets to explore this world and, you know, impact this world in beautiful new ways. So
Definitely.
Last piece of advice to save the world to a couple that could be in the thick of it right now. Some practical advice, something that they can maybe reinforce between each other to kind of circle those wagons, to use that term again. What advice do you want to leave us with?
I think some of the traits that they can use is that to have that mutual respect for each other, to also find common interests and build new intentions, because as Kirishma was saying, is that it's 2 different cultures coming together to build something new, something unique, and something beautiful that sets you apart. That's not the same as everybody else. But if we look at even just Nelson Mandela, he believes that South Africa is the rainbow nation. So we celebrate that diversity today, and that's what it's about. Because when we celebrating, you know, the culture not only forms part of the identity, but when we're celebrating the culture, we essentially then celebrating the identity.
and I want to say it's okay to find your own path, to bring your 2 cultures together and make a new one. You know, I think that's okay because we so often want to be stuck in these boxes, and that stops us a lot of the time. So it's okay to.
If anything, as the custodian of your culture, it's your responsibility to make it modern, to take it into the new world.
Exactly.
Catch up, people. Catch up. Go and make some beautiful babies. That's what we're about, man. Oh, thank you so much. This has been so enlightening. I'm going to go back to my Geordie wife and tell her a few things. Now, I have to laugh because her dad always looks at me. He's like, you would have died working in the mines. You're just so weak. I would have made it, okay? I would have done it, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of you who weighed in the conversation. Keep that conversation going, in fact, on our social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you. But ladies, thank you so much. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure being here.